In this video, I'm going to talk about adjectives and adverbs, how to tell the difference between them, and in which situations to use one or the other. We're focusing on weather-related vocabulary here. Adjectives, you probably remember, they don't have gender of their own. They always follow the gender of the noun that they go with. They also have to follow the case of the noun that they go with. So they have to change for both gender and case, and also number, so they will change for plural as well. Here I have the nominative forms of the adjectives. You probably remember them from last year. As opposed to adjectives, adverbs don't change for anything. They don't change for case, they don't change for gender, they don't change for number. They always stay the same. Usually they end in O, or maybe E, or maybe yeah, and they might have some other endings. So let's look at some sentences in which we use adjectives versus sentences in which we use adverbs. Какая была погода вчера? Погода была теплая. Did we use adjectives or adverbs there? Versus как было вчера? Вчера было тепло. Here we see какая была погода вчера? Погода была теплая. See our adjectives, какая and теплая. And we also see how the verb is in the feminine past tense. All this gives us clues about what's the subject of the sentence. The subject of the sentence is something feminine. And of course, what do we see what that is? It's pagoda. Here we have pagoda being the thing being described. What was the weather yesterday? The weather was warm yesterday. We're describing the weather. Versus here, как было вчера? Вчера было тепло. How was it yesterday? We're not describing something specific. We're saying how was the general state of things yesterday. We don't have anything in the nominative case here to agree with. So we'll use было, the neuter past, and we'll use the adverb form. Even though we're basically saying the same thing as in this first set of sentences, here we're doing something grammatically different. We're not using pagoda as the subject, and we don't have any subject here. So we use adverb and neuter form of the past tense. Let's look at some more. Как у вас зимой? У нас зимой холодно. How is it where you live in the winter? Where we live in the winter, it's cold. Here you can see we're using an adverb. Why? There's nothing in the nominative case that we're describing. It can't be zimoi. Zimoi, we're using sort of like an adverb. It's in the instrumental. U nas, that's genitive. There's nothing that's the subject here that we're describing. Whereas in the second set of sentences, какая погода бывает у вас зимой? У нас зимой погода бывает холодная. What kind of weather do you generally have in the winter? In the winter, we generally have cold weather. Here we have, again, pagoda being the subject, so we'll have to use the feminine adjective. It's not always pagoda, though. Let's look at an example where we don't have pagoda. Какой у вас климат? У нас холодный климат. Климат here is our subject, so we have to have какой and холодный agree with климат in gender. Sometimes we have a stress shift between adjectives and adverbs. Here we're focusing on the cold and hot adjectives and adverbs. The first two don't have stress shifts. You can hear they're the same. Жарко, жаркая. Прохладно, прохладная. But the second two have a stress shift. Холодно, холодная. Тепло, теплая. So try saying those with me. Жарко, жаркая. Прохладно, прохладная. Холодно, холодная. Тепло, теплая. Take this short quiz. And if you have any questions or any feedback or anything you'd like to go over more in class, please let me know.